song is that?
I don't know. I just made it up.
Welcome back, Corny Dads and Corny Dads team and supporters.
Let's go.
Corny Dads is a podcast where we highlight modern-day fatherhood and showcase our relationships and our experiences with our dope kids. What is it? Dope kids?
Oh, man.
We just some dope dads that do.
Yeah, we some dope dads that do some dope things.
We some corny dads that do some dope.
That sums it up. Yeah, that sums
It's back
it
to
up.
school time, man. So we getting our bearings right now. You know what I mean?
Corny dads doing dope things with our dope kids.
There you
Right,
go.
that's what it is.
That's what we are.
Go ahead, Dennis. Say it again.
We just some corny dads doing dope things with our dope kids.
Hey, don't.
That's what it was.
Dad, say it again.
Well, since I done introduced us, right, then I am Yogi, then Namaste.
What's happening? Corny Dad, OJC. Catch me on TikTok.
You did. And the man with many hats but no hat on today. Some people call me Chico. These gentlemen call me Ace, but my children call me Papa. Let's go.
And with that being said, I'm gonna just be brother to the night.
I was waiting. It's been a while since the brother tonight pulled up. I love that.
Yeah, I'm CJ Snuggy Harris, man. Welcome back.
Uh-huh.
So, how you
Let's
guys
get it.
feeling?
Yeah, I feel good, man. Like I said, hit the sage early. Did my chants. You know what I'm saying? Ace Boogie pulled right up on me.
On the time.
Yeah, saged him. We good, man.
That's it.
We locked in.
I should have
live.
came to get some sage on me.
No, I'm here. I got it. For all of us.
Perfect.
What are you talking about?
We got that on. Keep
That's
it
it.
on us.
We all lit.
How you guys feeling? Or how you guys really feeling? Outside of then, because then you
The,
just told
the,
us.
the retrograde is retrograded.
Y'all should say that. The retrograding is definitely retrograding.
The
That's for sure.
retrograde is retrograded.
And let's be clear, it is 7 planets, right? 6 planets, right? That's right now getting busy. So we feel it. We know everyone else feels it. It's a lot going on. It's a lot of transitioning happening right now. Just go with the wave. Go with the flow, y'all.
Real. For real. How y'all feeling? Have y'all got back into the routine of school, being in session and stuff like that? How y'all been feeling with that with the kids and stuff? They back in mode? Cause I was up doing math homework till like about midnight the other night.
Yo, my son been in school since like second week of August, so
Yeah.
I'm in my routine.
Yeah, I'm pretty much
I'm locked
good,
in.
yeah.
All right. Snug, you clocked in?
Always, man.
working with all them kids, doing these magical things.
Yeah, I'm still in the process
Wait,
of.
what?
Yeah,
Do magical
pause, right?
things? Nah, that ain't no
he talking
magic.
about work.
Yeah, Michael
I'm
Jackson.
talking
You
about
talking
He
about?
talking
Nah.
about work, yeah.
Yogi, you on one today, boy. I tell you.
Because I was literally typing M and then Michael came up. And I was like, oh,
Retrograde.
snap.
Retrograde, man. That's retrograde, man.
Tyson.
Jackson.
Yo, y'all tripping.
Nah,
We needed that. We needed this good laugh right now.
Definitely did, for sure.
nah, but
Good stuff.
he was talking about work though, man.
Yeah.
And what I'm realizing is that by working with the population of kids that I work with, things are different than how it was when I grew up. So yeah, working with that population, school is one thing, but they have other things that kind of dictate why they're with me and things that I have to adapt to. So trying to understand their mindset and shift it into a direction where some kids are going to transition into being independent. Other kids might transition into more secure programming. But yeah, man, like that the school part and just the culture of that population of kids is different. So me trying to understand that is probably the more difficult part.
Gotcha.
That's the work. That's the part that carrying it with me outside of the office, that's the draining part, especially like in this moment where you guys just talked about retrograde. Like in this particular moment, like it's heavy, man. Like we pulled up and I was asleep, man. I was asleep. I got to breathe and then I had that moment to myself, and next thing you know, my head is on the headrest and we here when I wake up. You know what I mean? I hear eyes in my daydreams like, was that Snug sleeping?
Yeah. I'm like, yo, is he sleeping? What time is it?
So, but yeah, that's where we are. But yeah, like it's it's difficult, but it's necessary. Because
Absolutely.
outside of me being that light for them, they wouldn't have it. So yeah. So that brings up a good question, or not a question, but more of a statement. Like, as an adult and growing up how I grew up and being disconnected from their norm, it's a, like I said, it's a cultural difference. How do you guys feel like the culture for our kids, the differences in our culture, and our kids growing up versus how we grew up?
Like social and cultural norms,
Right.
you think?
It's completely different.
It is.
Like, to be quite honest with you, when you start talking about the difference between our cultures with us growing up and our kids growing up, you can see the difference is something just as simple as these phones that we have here in front of us, right? That's one of the biggest differences between our time and their time. There was a point in time where we played video games, right? And your friend had to come over to play with you. Now they're playing with some guy overseas, right? When I'm hoping and praying, it's a 12-year-old boy, right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now what we've done, we've just provided our children with access, not only to their friends, but we provided them access to the world. And with providing them access to the world is something that I looked up. It's called KGOY. Kids getting older, younger, right?
Yep.
So that's basically what we did. Most kids now, at the age of 10, their parents place a smartphone in their hands.
Yep.
So at this age of 10, when this phone is placed in their hands, now they have access to the whole world, right?
Yep.
Which forces them to become more mature at a younger age.
Because they see more.
Because they see more. They have access to way more. So when we start talking about the differences between our cultural norms, right, from our era to these kids' era, is completely different. In order for us to have to learn and to explore another country, we had to go into encyclopedias.
Exactly.
Remember, like the encyclopedias, we like, I'm curious to know what Asia looks like. And you go into the library, you go through the encyclopedia. Now it's not even that. Right now, today, anything that your child wants to know, they have access to it. We had to ask our parents, hey, what's this? What's that? Now they could, hey, Google.
Alexa.
Hey, Siri. Hey, Alexa. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So when we start looking at the cultural differences, I would definitely say the cultural differences that we have now between now and between then and now, it's definitely technology. Technology has played a major role.
I wanna piggyback off of that too, because one of the things you just said, here's one of our issues, right? And I'm not gonna say so much of a problem, but it definitely is an issue, right, that we need to address. And as you said, sometimes when we need to look up something, we want to see something, we go ask, right? Ask our parents, and now you can just go, okay, Google. So there's limited restriction on what a child can do, right?
Yes.
And then that with limited restriction, therefore can come limited responsibility for
Unlimited.
unlimited responsibility.
Yes.
Right. Well, it's limited because if you're not restricting them, then they're just out there in the world, right?
Correct.
And they're not understanding that with that access and exposure comes responsibility.
Absolutely.
So they don't have any responsibility because you're just able to go wherever you want to go, whenever you want to go there, right?
Absolutely.
Which is an issue, right? Especially for our children, right, that are able to access the internet and go wherever they want. Now we're not allowing the parents to do what they're supposed to do, right? And that is to guide our children in a way that we see, because we know what it looks like out there, somewhat, right? And now our job is to guide our children in a way that can be safe, right? And we can protect them.
Protect them, right?
Right.
That's important.
With social media and with the internet, if we're not putting the right restrictions, and the truth is, we could do as many restrictions as we want.
They're gonna
These
find a way
kids
around.
know how to access and work these phones way better than any one of us, right? So knowing and understanding that the limitless opportunities that they have on these devices is endless. It's limitless. You feel what I'm saying? So with that limitless opportunity for them to learn and explore certain things that we didn't have access to. Like, for example, if we wanted to watch porn, right? We had to go into the back of this, there was drapes, there was cameras watch. It was embarrassing for you to go.
There was roadblocks
and steal a Playboy or something like that.
You never knew who was going to see you in
there.
there.
So you didn't go. Like it was that simple. Or you waited till somebody came to school with one. He was like, "Oh, let me grab a picture." Right? Now it's limitless. Like it's full blown. It went from pictures to now full blown action.
It was synonymous, but it's synonymous to how we actually felt, right? Because we knew in our hearts that it was wrong. And therefore they put roadblocks. We knew it was wrong, therefore they put roadblocks. So it made sense. It agreed with how we felt. Like, yeah, you know you're not supposed to be here, young boy. So we have restrictions and problems here. I mean, things that you can't get around. Now it's like, we know it's bad. The kids know they're not supposed to go there, but they can. And we willingly tell them, like, give them access to it by just saying, here, look at this, right? Without you're not going to protect them from everything, and that's always been like that for us too, right? You can't protect me. You can't protect me from everything. You have to let me go out there and mess up, right? So that way you can figure it out. But normally, when you see me mess up, you're there. You're not that far away, right? That you can get to me. Now we're just allowing them to go anywhere they want to go,
right next to you,
restriction,
right next to you.
Right
in the car with you. Like, he's in the back seat, you're driving, or he or she's in the back seat, and they are accessing a world that you have no idea
that they're accessing. And we don't even go back and check. It's like, what about home? You know, when you got your homework, your parents used to check it. And let me see what you got going on here. We don't even check. There's no checks and balances now. It's literally just wide open, and you can do whatever you like to do. We just have to get a grip on that.
Absolutely. Listen, a lot of things you're saying is they're important, but I think once again it's paying attention to our children and their habits and just how they're moving around certain situations, having conversations with our children as well, and knowing, hey, what's going on, how was your day, what you into, peeking in from time to time. I do that with my son randomly all the time, and even my daughter. I'll peek in over his shoulder and be like, hey, what are you watching? Because I know some of the videos that she watch will kind of influence her behaviors. Like, she has a vanity set, right? Now she puts on makeup. She has her makeup and stuff. So sometimes I will sit down and watch the videos that she's watching. I'm like, okay, this is where you're getting the inspiration to get into vanity and things of that nature. So we have to try to eat. I know it's hard because we have real life going on. We have all of these things going on. But us as parents ourselves, we have to disconnect from the internet ourselves and our selfish behaviors and kind of see what our children are doing. Like, hey, what you watching? What's going on? What you into? I asked my son today a question. Hey, who's your favorite artist right now? And he's like, I don't really know. Okay, what's your favorite song right now? Just those little random questions can give you some insight, because now I could be like, oh, you like so-and-so? Let me go look at his work. Let me see what he got going on. And then that can give me an idea of, all right, I see what's starting to grasp his attention. Also, looking at their Google searches. Those things you can look into. We can use technology as a disadvantage and a disadvantage as well. Go into their Google searches. See what's going on. See what they're looking up. How they're dressing, how they're walking, who they're emulating. All of these things are telltale signs of the direction that our children, or the influence that our children may be going in.
I like that a lot.
Some of the things that all of you guys talked about, where you talked about encyclopedias, you talked about having that responsibility and power, and you just talked about like checking, like just seeing, right?
Tapping in.
So these phones are power. They're powerful.
Absolutely.
Being of age, let's say 35 plus, right? Or let's say 30 plus, these phones weren't always around. So life before that was encyclopedia. So a lot of the things that these kids are learning and have access to, we didn't have access to growing up. We didn't know that Tulum was a place, right? So and think about it, pre-pandemic, a lot of adults didn't know Tulum was a place. Right? You feel me? And that's real. So that's what I'm saying. So just as our kids are learning, that's why I say, like, that responsibility. There's power in knowing what you're responsible for. Like, I wouldn't give I hated the fact that my sons wanted phones for their birthdays, but I gave it to them because now I can kind of control what they do in a sense, but not I can show them how to be more responsible.
Responsible.
But adults, I can't control what my partner does with her phone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the things that she sees that influences her behavior may not be from me or anything in her direct environment. It might be something that she's seeing elsewhere.
I love the fact that you said that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you said that.
Listen, social media within itself is it's a matrix, right?
Go ahead,
Believe half of what you see
And none of what you heard.
and none of what you see on there. None of what you hear on there. None of what you hear on there. It's a matrix. No, it's absolutely a matrix. And, to some parents, I feel like ultimately sometimes we are all influenced. Nobody is exempt.
Exactly.
Nobody exempt from the peer pressures of what social media provides, right?
Thanks.
You just talked about your daughter, for example, right? We do know that one of the leading causes of
Depression.
of depression, of little girls feeling anxiety and
Insecurity.
is because of social media, right? So now you get to see this. Now you can see this. They are seeing and they are placing an emphasis on what beauty looks like based on what somebody else is doing, right? And there's filters, there's photo editors, there's so many different things that's happening, but now you have these little girls looking to them. One thing that I could definitely say that today, right, I'm not going to sit here and knock social media 100% for these little girls, because one thing that I do know for certain right now is black women have assumed their rightful position on the throne, and that is due to the power of social media.
Social media has
Social media has made it so that everybody right now wants to be a Nubian queen.
Sounds like they used it responsibly.
Right.
What was that, Marv?
Yeah,
No, seriously, because you get to really see how all culture right now is really influencing. It really influences the masses.
It always
but that
has.
does not necessarily mean that there's not some negative backlash that's happening, right?
Right.
For every positive, there's a negative,
That's
right?
how it works.
And the negative that I'm starting to see right now is everything from our young men to our young women. Our young women, they're basing their value off of their looks. Our young men, they want to have money to their ears like this on the
on the gram.
on the gram.
But I think another thing that we also have to pay attention to is outside of social media is the music, right?
Hit 'em.
The music that is being perpetuated and pushed out now is like all about, hey, women, y'all have to have that vanity so y'all can get that bag.
You a corny dad, because guess
I'm a
what?
corny-
Music has always been that way.
It's always
Right.
been.
I disagree with Ace.
I'm
Yeah, I hear. I disagree with Ace.
I'm gonna tell you exactly.
Hit 'em.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead,
tell
Ace.
you exactly why. The music that we were listening back to in the day, right,
Mm-hmm.
was more a lot of storytelling, right. Once we entered around the 2000s and it was about bling bling and all of that stuff, we weren't as young men as we weren't doing money phones. We aspired to have the nice and shiny things that we wanted, but right now the way that's being perpetuated now within the community, like, yo, you can't even be around us if you can't do the money phone. And what are you willing to do to get that money?
But I think that has always been music. Whether it's hip hop music, whether it's rock and roll, everybody's music they glorify a certain life, right? So I don't necessarily think, and this is where I'm going to be honest enough to say that parents need to get involved,
Have to
right?
be involved.
So if you're not, I don't blame these people. They're not responsible for your children. You are responsible
right.
for your child. So I don't care if we're talking about, it doesn't matter what these people are saying. If you ultimately have a relationship and you have the influence over your child, the music makes no difference. Why are people not blaming the Hollywood? Hollywood actually shows you what happens.
You're right, but once again, it's what I said in my first point. It's reinforcing it as a parent and tapping in. But what I'm saying is that basically these images are being perpetuated to the kids, right? Now with no guidance and no reinforcement, they're gonna think this is life. This is what it's all about. As parents or guardians or eldersmen, you come in and be like, you know, this ain't real, right? None of this is real. This is cap, like the kids would say. So you basically alluded back to what I said, reinforcing your children. But at the same time, companies are conveniently pushing out these messages.
Yeah, it's directed, it's targeted.
It's targeted. It's targeted to our
us.
communities. You know, we have all these artists within our communities that are dying for nothing. When's the last time you heard a rock and roll star, or country music star being killed?
You know what? You know how they die? They die of drug overdose.
That
but
too.
they don't let
That's
us,
the
they don't let
music.
it be
the
known.
purpose, but the purpose is that they target it to us. We don't hear about
Right.
that because they're not going to show that to us.
And
It's
not.
what they're
And
targeting.
can we also be
to
fair
us.
though? We don't see it because that's not what we're into.
No, I'm gonna tell you. Maybe,
No, I'm
maybe.
asking.
No.
Right?
I would say this. I would disagree. I would say that they know what we're into, and that's what they press in our
No,
communities.
no. I'm saying this, right? Because we cannot speak for any other culture. We cannot speak for any other genre. Is it fair to say that we don't know what's happening because we're not a part of those cultures?
Why are we not a part of those cultures?
Because that's not what we gravitate to.
We influence.
We're definitely. That's what I'm saying. Like it's definitely influence. Because like if I get in a car with some of my mentees, they like to hear Maroon 5. They like that because they were exposed to that. But the problem is we're not being exposed to that. We're being exposed to what they're targeting to us. They spend billions of dollars to target us with this specific music. If you go on a radio, you're going to hear specific music targeted to us. If you go on social media,
But we have our own specific stations, the same way they have their own specific stations.
yeah, but why aren't we exposed to those specific stations?
Because
right?
we choose not to turn the dial to it.
So that's what I'm saying. Like why wouldn't we choose to turn the dial to it?
Because mama listened to Hot 97, daddy listened to Hot 97. So
Exactly.
now I'm gonna listen to Hot 97.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't mean that Kiss whatever that's K-Rock doesn't. K-Rock been in existence forever.
But guess who he had? But that's what I'm saying. We have to be exposed to K-Rock. We're not being exposed to K-Rock. Now if they on let's just say Power 99, right? Right? If they say, you know what, we can make music, we can make money off of K-Rock. That's what we would listen to. But they make money off of us, off of the music that is targeted to us. Why? Because our communities need that in order to do the things that we do.
I would say this: music and television is relative. You go and you focus on what is more relatable to you.
They feed us.
So
this,
look,
I'm trying to say they feeding us
Go
this
ahead,
stuff.
go ahead, Slug.
So to bring it back to the connection between how we grew up versus how the kids growing up, right?
Right.
When we grew up, the streets influenced rap.
Correct.
We knew for a fact rappers weren't living that life.
Correct.
Right? So rappers partnered up with drug dealers and they created a lifestyle to where now their rap seem more real. But now rap influences the streets.
Yes.
Because now we're in a different time. So I think just that disconnect between how we grew up
and this time
and today is different.
it's
So
definitely different.
you have to really rap about what you do. Otherwise, somebody's gonna pull your card and we not listening to your music. Like that's the new canceling. So yeah, I think it comes back to the disconnect between how we grew up versus how they're growing up. Is there a timestamp on where we are in our culture? Probably so, because I think it is an agenda, overall agenda.
Of course.
And we control the
the money
narrative, though.
agenda.
Yeah,
It's the
right.
money.
So in regards to the radio, it's advertising dollars. It's not about the music. If they got whoever, so if we like rap music, they're gonna play rap music because that's how the advertisement dollars gets in there.
And
so
I'm sorry. And let's
go
be
ahead.
clear. Timothy, Sarah, Bob, and Joe, they listening to
They
hip hop
listen to it too.
They coming up to the shows, but guess what? They're not spinning the block on the ops. You feel what I'm saying? They're listening to. They know a story's being told. They know they're being entertained, and then they go back to their cozy homes in their cul-de-sacs and be like, "Oh, it's just music. It's not. It's not." But for us, it's real life.
Well, we think it's real life.
Or we think it's real life.
Or we've created it to make it our real life.
Absolutely.
Because of our environment.
There you go.
So, but yeah, like that part is like, so how do you, so knowing that, right? So in how we grew up versus how they're growing up, it's like, yo, that Pooh Shiesty mask stuff. We always come back to the Pooh Shiesty mask. Like they have to wear that. If you live on a block and it's not so much gang related. If you live on a certain block, even if you going to work, to not be mistaken for somebody else, sometimes you might have to wear that mask.
No, I get that. I get that. That would make perfect sense, right? Because you're in survival mode, right? You're in survival mode because it's decisions that you have made or maybe didn't make, right? Somebody made for you that you might be in that survival mode. So,
Right.
yeah, you might have to wear that mask. But it's all about the choices. Again, we got to remember it's the choices that we make, right? So, and to Oz point, right, we got to get, if we want to give me a second. If you want to figure this out, right, then what you have to do is you have to make a conscious choice, right? You have to literally sit and say, yo, what am I listening to?
Right.
What is it saying? Right. And you know deep down inside that's probably not the way to go, right? It's just listening to who you are inside, right?
You know, there's something that you said that honestly, I left here with the session, right? He was like, if you eat something, take a little while, see how you feel, right?
Yep.
Same thing goes for the music. How does it make you feel?
right.
Same thing for the television show. How does it make you feel? There's certain music, to be quite honest with you, when I want to get into a certain mode and I want to get to that mode, I listen to it. There's certain TV shows that when I want to feel this way, I go and that's what I go listen to. But guess what? There's also a time where I feel like, yo, I want to have a really good time, and I will play some techno music.
Right.
Right? So again, it is about who you are. It's about making a decision, right? And the decision and the choice is yours to make.
So,
if you keep making the same decision, then you're going to keep getting the same result.
Right. So with these phones, that decision, those choices, right? So the culture that we currently live in, and I teach my sons about like just being a person to people, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
If something happens in front of you and you have the opportunity or there's a need for you to call 911, use your phone to call 911 and not record. So what our culture does at this where we are is when something happens, instead of calling for help or being of assistance, they pull out the record. What was life like before camera phones? And it's people our age. I see it in the hood all the time. Like, so it's like, yo, what was life like before these camera phones? Like, what happened to people treating people like people?
We
You know what I'm
took
saying?
responsibility out of the community.
Right.
Now we got desensitized
We took
too.
responsibility out of the community. No one's. That's why I said, like, it's important to understand that I am responsible for your son. I'm responsible for your son and your daughter. I am responsible for Marv's family. I'm responsible. When you get to a point where you understand that what responsibility means is the ability to be able to respond, right, in a way that makes sense, the way that can help someone or can save their life. You can also have the ability as a human being. That's what we are. Ability to have the ability to respond. If we do not respond, that makes us non-human, and that's what's happening when we no longer can respond to a situation. That's making us like robots, right? When somebody can tell us and move us in a way that we need to be moved, now we're robotic, and that's what we're not understanding. That's where we're going. You understand what I'm saying? Not being
That's where
human
we
beings
are.
anymore. That's
Right.
where we are.
No sense of
we-
community.
We're living iRobot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where we are.
We have no sense of community, and to add on to what you said, in our culture, the West Indian culture, that's how it was. The entire community was accountable for every child. If you did something and your neighbor saw that, you get
Your neighbor can spank you.
they can spank you, and you get they get a bird call. So we have no sense of community anymore.
Okay.
And I think outside with COVID as well, I think outside of the physical health aspect of it, people of color, we love to always be around each other, be around and create that synergy. With COVID, it separated that, and people just were in their kind of own corner. And they start practicing individuality, which is nothing wrong with that. But what happened to the community?
What happened?
Well, part of what happened to the community was they called it social distancing, but it was physical distancing.
Absolutely.
So that way,
Mental distancing.
Mental
facts.
distancing, everything.
And we only, and even at that mental distancing, we didn't focus on ourselves. We focused on the phones. Like people's usage, and I did the numbers. Their phone usage went up 550%.
Spoke about that.
Yo, that's wild. That's
They
wild.
made the phone our best friend.
Yeah.
They made us need it.
They may do not disturb our best friend after COVID as well. Like everybody that get silenced. Like no one wants to be by, and I get it. And I get it because a lot of it is like you got to protect yourself too. You got to protect your energy. And that's the real thing, right?
I don't respect nobody's silent thing. I'll call you right back. I will call you right back.
definitely do call
I'll call you right back. I do not respect your
definitely
silence.
told me right back.
That's a fact.
But that's the thing is that I realize that I'm sensitive, so I carry a lot. So I keep my phone on do not disturb and all of that stuff, like because I have to reconnect with who I am and what my vision is.
So now let me ask you this question, right? Because let's bring this back full circle. There was a point in time where your children could not disconnect from you. You bust into the room. Hey, I need to talk to you right now. So now, not only are our children there, they found a way to isolate us, utilizing the same phone we gave them. They found a way to isolate us. Right? The same phone we gave them, but now, again, they still have access to the World Wide Web, right?
Facts.
Forcing them. The point that I really want to make now is that these phones are forcing our young children to be more mature at a younger age, right?
Yep.
Which is not fair. The question is, I want my son to be
A child.
to be a boy for as long as he possibly can. Because manhood is long. It's a long, long
Yeah, it
journey.
is.
Your childhood is short. In a blink of an eye,
Right.
your childhood will pass you by. So these are some of the things, like, when I sit here and I think about it, my goddaughter London, my niece Ayana, right? These are two young ladies from literally two different age brackets, two different generations, right? But I'm super duper clear that these phones are infiltrating and they are manipulating them the same exact way.
Absolutely.
Just at a different pace.
That's a fact.
See, London is getting it at a different age because London is much older now, right? But Ayana, unfortunately for her, she's getting it from the time she's a baby girl. You understand what I'm saying? YouTube, all of these things, they are all playing a role. And like everyone here said, and I think that we all are in support of this, which is making sure that we are here to not only support our children, but to protect them and guide them. And that's even against the World Wide Web. So put in the different measures that that needs to happen. Put in the restrictions. I never gave my son a phone without putting restrictions on it. There are certain hours can't nobody call him with the exception of his top 5.
Top five.
Understand what I'm saying? So let's just figure out a way. Like this could be a weapon or it could be a tool, right? The question is, what do you as a parent, when you place this phone in your child's hand, what are you giving them this tool as? Right. No different than a gun, right?
Go ahead. Say.
Yeah.
Like this phone is no different than a gun. I could give you this gun to protect yourself. I could give you this, like, it's so to go hunt, right? It's more than just what's happening in the hood. Like guns are used for so many different other aspects of life,
Go
right?
off, eyes. Go ahead.
Right? Same thing like these phones. What do you what's your purpose? What are you going to use it for? Are you going to use it
Instagram.
for good or are you going to use it for evil?
They said Instagram is the new streets, right?
Is it?
They said Instagram is the new streets, man. We're losing brothers over this.
So
We just recently
so
lost
let me
a
say
brother
something
over
to you, right? If you ain't built for the streets, right? They made sidewalks. Stay on the sidewalk.
I think one thing that parents need to do is talk to their kids.
That's
Gotta
it.
talk to
Like have a real relationship. I can just speak from my boys. Like we talk. Like they learned me as a person. They probably know me better than their mom knows me in regards to my experience and how I am today. So yeah, like just talk to them and create a space, a safe environment for them to come talk to you about what they're feeling. So yeah,
Because
like
if they ain't talking to you, they talking to somebody else.
right, for
You
sure.
understand what I'm saying? Oh, and another thing you can do, take the phones. You can do it. I promise you. You're a parent. You're responsible. You can restrict the phone time.
There is a video circulating over the internet right now.
Oh, yeah.
Where this woman, this mom, took her 15-year-old. At first they said 12. Now we're finding out that it's a 15-year-old little boy's, 15-year-old young man's phone. And what this young man did was he destroyed his whole entire apartment.
whole one.
What I
you
mean
already see that.
destroyed the apartment. Everything trashed.
Saw that.
And they put it on video. What are we talking about?
That's a good point. They did.
What are we talking about? So is it real?
We
Is it
don't-
real?
We don't even know.
So I got a question.
Come on.
So I was once 15.
Yeah. Many moons ago.
many moons ago. And my identity wasn't tied to a device.
It's a cultural difference.
There's a cultural difference,
I
yeah.
know. So when you take these devices away from a 15-year-old today, that might be tied to their identity. Like, so you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's who they are. So it's like, yeah, it's a big difference, but there has to be something that we can do to communicate. Like, yo, dude, like, instead of me,
It's tied to your identity because nobody told you how to use it. no different than a gun.
And nobody told you who you
Facts.
were.
Yeah, nobody told you who you were. If I put a gun in your hand, I'm going to teach you safety. I'm going to teach you the necessary precautions because you know the devastation that this gun could
That's a
cause.
responsible adult. Because at 15, I had one.
Unfortunately, he was around a lot of irresponsible
Irresponsible
adults.
Yeah.
But your dad meant well because he gave it to you and you knowing that this is for protection.
No.
He probably didn't elaborate on
My
it.
dad was gone.
Oh, he was
that.
gone?
Yeah.
Oh,
I-
okay.
Look, I got that. I got that on my own.
Gotcha.
I got that on
That's
my
a
own.
different. That's a different topic.
That's a whole different topic.
Okay.
But the responsibility is missing. That's
Correct.
what really. What's
Correct.
really
Responsibility and connection too. Like,
Correct.
Real
and
connection.
Correct.
Real connection.
But your to connect is your responsibility as a human being.
So I'm saying like connection, like so say the online, like the World Wide Web, I can connect with somebody and now I'm thinking they're my friend. It's in today's age.
Correct.
Versus me being connected with you guys, I can physically touch you, I can call you for anything.
The likes doesn't really mean love. Them hearts doesn't really mean these people love you.
Right.
It doesn't.
But
It's-
you know they say that it causes like a certain euphoria in your
It
body.
does.
when you see-
Dopamine hits.
That
Yes.
dopamine is a drug,
Yes.
bro.
It is. It's
Yes.
literally a drug. So that's what we got to do. We got to get just like any drug. We got to start to wean them off of the
Start
drug.
fasting.
Yup, you fast off of it slowly but surely. And listen, guys, look, you can always hit us up on Instagram, YouTube. If you're looking for ways to do it, we do it every day. Like it's either through mindfulness, is meditation, is yoga, is like I had to wean my kids off of their phones. Like we didn't do it in one shot, right? We had to start to wean them off of it. And you know where it started from? It started from me. Me putting my phone down, them seeing it, right? Them seeing me do it. So you have to be a responsible adult to know that and you have to be in your space to know when you are violating or when you're going the wrong direction.
One of the most triggering things you could do with social media is have it pop up on your phone every time something happens, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the most triggering thing. Something just as simple as like taking it off. Like, yo, I don't need to know every time somebody likes or comments on my post. I don't need to know every time somebody I follow posts something.
Right.
It's starting to, it's a learned behavior, right?
Yeah.
And what we have to do is we have to relearn how to get back into reality because this isn't real.
Right. So Drake and I was with Den earlier this week, and I couldn't stop listening to the song "Emotionless." And he has a line where he says, like, when something exciting happens in my life, I'll run to the blog. Only people I want to tell is the ones I can call. That's how I am. Like I don't like, yeah. Like I know we always talk about. Like yo, snug, no IG snug and all that stuff. I recently got on IG too for our Corny Dad Lives. I probably won't be accepting all of y'all requests.
Shoot the handle, snug.
Yeah, no, it's good. Hey Joel, don't tag me in nothing, man. But yeah, like that's how I am. Like I want to feel real connection with real people. I want to give real love, and I want to feel real love from people, not just like online because they think that it's really my birthday. And somebody posted it, a fake birthday or something like that.
Yo, and let's even talk about it from like an adult space, right? I feel like we're talking about our children. I'm gonna be honest enough to say that I suffered from social media anxiety. Like it's real to the point where it's like you feel the need to always have your phone on you, right? And we're talking about an adult. Could you imagine what a 10, 11, 9, 13-year-old boy or girl may feel?
Right.
Come on, man. Like, because this is our identity. Like we're not gonna play semantics. No, your phone. Like, if you have a LinkedIn profile, like that's your business. If you have a Facebook profile, that's where you socialize. You have an
Think about how we do Ace with the green bubbles.
yeah, exactly.
That's a way to, to exclude someone from something, right?
It's shaming him.
Yeah, we should. It's a lot of pressure.
I apologize, man.
It's a lot of
too, bro.
pressure.
Like,
I don't.
You have
Get
to
an
get
iPhone.
an iPhone. Yeah, you have to.
I'm gonna text you on WhatsApp.
Yo, Mark, bleep out all the iPhone references. But it's funny, you said something that it just kind of triggered in my memory. Like this morning, I took my son to a program, and I noticed he forgot his phone. And I was gonna run, take your phone with you, because and then someone was like, you know what, just leave it, because obviously he doesn't feel it's that connected to it that he needs to take it with him, and it's something where we need him to focus, so you don't need your phone. So subconsciously he may know that he needs to disconnect from time to time. But
Absolutely.
I think the emphasis we're gonna just place on this is pay attention what you pay attention to. right? Because the internet could be a tool.
What does that mean?
Pay attention what you. I'm happy that you
Yes.
asked. We look at social media as a gift and a curse, right?
Yes.
So if we're following, no disrespect to ladies, 50 Instagram models, and we're getting that up on our feed all of the time, instead of following like some inspirational quotes. Some Law of Light is a great page that I love to follow. Anytime I may be feeling something, for some god awful reason, I'll pop up. It'll give me something that'll give me balance, and I'll see that. Audit, same way we talk about audit our circle. Audit what you're paying attention to. So pay attention to what you're paying attention to. If you're paying attention to all these things that's going to provide you anxiety and fear and anger, get them out of here. Start pulling in the positivity, things that you want to focus on.
Pay attention to what you pay attention to.
Pay attention to what you
That
pay
makes sense,
attention
man.
to.
I'm glad you explained that.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what? Stay corny.
Stay
Stay
corny.
corny.
Stay
man.
corny.
Yo, we gotta do
That's so corny.